Hi, I'm Kristen Valus, and welcome to this edition of Conscious Collaboration Cafe. Today, we're going to be addressing anything you have going on around money and how to create more flow of money into your life. And I have today here our guest, which is Pamela Lynch. She's a self-mastery coach. She's a dear friend of mine, and she has helped me so much in the past 10 weeks to really increase the flow of money in my life and all of the other things that I want to create as well. So I'm really excited to share her information with you today and introduce you to some of these ideas that you can actually implement right away. And they're so easy and you can get near instant results, especially with how fast we're manifesting things right now. So welcome, Pamela.
Thank you, Kristen. So lovely to be on here with you again. We've had conversations in your space before, and really nice to be back. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Yeah, the last conversation we had was really interesting as well, and so I'm so happy to have you back. And today, we were going to talk about what you feel like the top 3 things are that kind of are key to activating wealth into your life, and what that really means, what that looks like. So why don't you start by telling us what you think the top 3 things are?
Well, the first one is about recognizing drama and how that plays out consciously and unconsciously in many cases, and how we can deactivate drama in our life. Understanding.
Huge.
And then the one,
huge for me. Yeah.
Oh, it was for me too.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to receive this information and then to be able to really bring it into practical practice, right? Yeah. To recognize where drama shows up in your life. And then forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge. One of the things that I've learned is that forgiveness comes before gratitude. So we'll talk about that. And then understanding how you create abundance.
Which is, yeah, all really, really key things. And they're actually really easy. It's surprisingly easy. And it's like, oh my God, if I had only known this my whole life, like how different things would have been, right? But all of our experiences bring us to this point, and it's all good. But man, what a difference it makes now that I know what I know and put these things into practice. So let's dive right in. So, what do you want to share with us in this bit of time that we have right now about recognizing drama?
Well, we are conditioned to actually play in drama, right? And when we understand that there's 3 roles in the drama triangle, and that it really comes from understanding the flow of energy. And so when we are in the drama triangle, we're either giving our power away or we're wanting to draw more because we've depleted our energy.
Right. Yeah. Right. And this was such a key thing for me when I started to understand, like, first how the mind works and how, like, you get an adrenaline hit, like how addictive drama can be, right? You get an adrenaline hit every time you engage in drama. And this is why there are people that are so addicted to it. And really, we're getting to see it play out in such a big way right now in society, right? Like you can't like have your eyes open at all and not see drama around you right now. Like it's everywhere. And it's so easy to get kind of pulled into it. And what that does, like, really for me, noticing like how I can now feel the energy drain when I engage in it, and I feel that coming on, and I'm like, oh wait, what am I doing? And then I can pull myself out of it again now that I have this awareness around it, and rather quickly. Whereas before, your energy would drain so much, like things would come into my life like bankruptcy or poverty or homelessness, like really massive things, because I wasn't aware at how much energy I was draining and how I was participating in that triangle, right? And playing all the roles too, right?
Well,
So
you know that I teach that you can be in the drama triangle all by yourself. You do not need to have another human being to be in the drama triangle. And
not at
a couple
all.
of things I want to say from what you just said was that I imagine that that was a slow drain. It's not like it happened overnight. It was slow. It came on slow, right? But the other side of that, when we recognize it, we can shift it really fast because we start to notice, and as you said, that it's almost instant. You can feel it in your body.
Yeah.
You learned about the energy flow or where you're leaking energy when you're in the drama triangle. And it's so interesting because I was sharing this yesterday that there was someone who I dated a few years ago, and he was always in drama, and he would constantly say, I hate drama. I don't want any part of drama, but
It's always those people, right?
I watched him create it over and over again with everybody in his life. You know, it was so, and I didn't know this information yet, but I became very aware that he's actually creating drama. He's the one creating it. And I didn't know any of this material back then. Yeah. But it was, it's so, once we know it, we can't unknow it like anything else. And so we were able to just really recognize the different roles that we play.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a beautiful thing. So let's talk a little bit about the forgiveness practice and what that does.
Yeah. It is such a huge, important part of when we're shifting from, say, deactivating drama to activating abundance in our life. Right? When we want to have a transformation, there is a piece, and like I said earlier, that the forgiveness comes before gratitude. Quite often we want to be grateful about things, but we skip over the forgiveness piece. And the forgiveness piece is for ourselves. Right? We may forgive other people, but we don't need to tell them about it. Right? So we do this by writing a letter, right? And it's a, Dear Kristen, please forgive me for, I use the Ho'oponopono, and right, so please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. And you write this letter, and you can write it for anything. You can write it for anything that you're in relationship with. And we are in relationship with everything. We have a relationship with money. We have a relationship with people. We have a relationship with our computer, right? We have literally a relationship with every single thing in our physical space. And so we can use that in whatever area so that we can, it's the fastest way that I know to shift through something that's going on, right? So if you have say you have something going on with money, you write a letter to money going, money, I am so sorry that I abused you and I didn't pay attention to you, and right? And I love you so much. Right? I love having money. Thank you for showing up in my life. Yeah, right. And so you can write that letter, and it is very powerful.
Well, and I love that you brought up the different aspects of doing the forgiveness work, because, for people who are new to forgiveness work, you might not understand that, quite yet, that, really when you're forgiving someone else or something else, you're really needing to forgive yourself ultimately. But if you don't really grasp that yet, it's okay. Like, it still works. The process still is very impactful if you focus on forgiving other people or other companies or, whatever it is, right? Your computer, whatever. We're in Mercury retrograde, so we got to forgive our electronics right now. But, it's really, I think, key for people to understand, like, you will get to a shift where you can see that, that it's actually really just about forgiving yourself, and there's never any need to forgive anyone else, because it really all comes back to you. But if you're not there yet, it's okay. You can forgive other people, because the process will still get you there. And I think that's one of the big things I learned through that, because I had a big challenge doing forgiveness work, because I was so traumatized in my past, and like, especially forgiving the people who I was blaming for all of the stuff, right? it was just like, how can I forgive that? I mean, some of the stuff I've been through, and I've shared this on, other videos, was atrocious. I mean, just, and so how do you forgive that stuff? And really, this past round of this process with you that I did, I really had a huge breakthrough with forgiveness, and I was just able to forgive like a load of stuff. And to me, I didn't even need to use the placeholder of the other person or the other things, and it actually made it a little easier to do it that way in the end. But it's really funny. I have to share this story because so what happened is in the past few days, we had the full moon, which is an awesome time for releasing. And I didn't make the time to do the ritual and do the forgiveness, which you can do forgiveness every day, and it's a good thing to do. I'm not there yet. I just don't make the space for it yet. It's one of the things on my to-do list. But
radical forgiveness is what that's called.
Right? But right now, I kept getting these intuitive hits, like you need to make time to do some forgiveness work. And I have all this stuff coming up from my past, like into my awareness again, like, okay, forgive this, forgive this, forgive this. Like I have a list, of stuff. And so this, was hitting me about Thursday, Friday. And to this day, I haven't done it yet. And so, today's a 9 energy day. It's a great day for letting go. So I kind of missed out a little bit on the full moon, although we still have a little energy from it. But I'm going to take advantage of that 9 now and do it today. But so here's what really happened that was hilarious. I mean, I had to laugh, okay, because the universe is always speaking to us. And so what happened is I live in an apartment in LA. There's another apartment building directly behind my apartment. And there's basically the alleys where the parking areas are, right? And so this manager of this building has a habit of having his maintenance people like throw large, items like old appliances and built-ins from renovations and cupboards, like all this stuff in the back. And I talked to him about it last year, and he cleaned it up, and then it came back, and then he cleaned it up, and it was gone for quite some time. And just yesterday morning, I was, going, I got to do the forgiveness stuff, right? And I come in the kitchen because I can see all this out my kitchen window where I spend a lot of time because of all my food prep. And literally, I wish I could show this to you right now. It's so crazy. The pile came back and is bigger than it's ever been in the 2 years that I've lived here. Massive. It looks like an absolute junkyard. I mean, I can't even describe to you. And I just had to laugh because I'm like, that's what I need to forgive. That's all the stuff that's piled up, waiting for me to throw it out, waiting for me to let it go, to get rid of it. And I know from experience, when I do it today, that stuff's going to go away. Like, I don't need to go yell at the manager. I don't need to call the city. I don't need to do the things, because all I need to do is do the forgiveness work. That stuff is going to just disappear. Yeah. But I just had to laugh because I was like, thank you for showing me, like, I need to stop and do this now. Like, this can't wait anymore. This stuff is so piled up and it has to happen now. And like, I love it. You know, some people think I'm crazy when I talk about how loud the universe can speak to you. And really, like, because I've been ignoring the intuitive nudges for days now. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to get louder, you know?
Yeah. And now you have an abundance of appliances out there.
There's carpeting, appliances, there's, you know, all kinds of cupboards and sinks. And I mean, it just literally looks like a massive junkyard. And, you know, the old me that didn't do this work with you, right? And with Joy, because, you know, Joy has originated some of this stuff and taught us, right? But, you know, I really had a big breakthrough with you this time. And I really did. And I don't know if it was just hearing it a different way, or, you know, or if I was just ready, but whatever. Like, I had a huge breakthrough with you this past time. And it was just like, you know, the old me would have been all up in the manager's face. I would have been calling the city. I would have been, you know, upset that it was affecting my energy, that it was, you know, bad feng shui and like all this stuff. And like, I don't have to do, like, that's getting in the drama, right? I can get in the drama just with trash. Like, you can do it with anything, right? And
You
so,
literally can get
you
into
know,
the drama triangle with anything, anyone, even yourself. And
yeah,
you didn't even need to have a conversation with him to get into this previously, because you would have been in the drama triangle before you even approached him or called the city. You would have been full blown, I am the victim, right?
oh,
Look at this.
yes, for months before I finally walked over, because I had to actually walk around the block because there's a wall, so I can't just walk through. So I had to like make a special point to walk around and like get his phone number and like, you know, and yeah, it took me months. And the whole time I'm just stewing over here, you know, like every time I look out my window, I'm just pissed off. That is drama, people. That is
Yeah.
drama. And it blocks all the goodness that wants to come to you.
All of it. It blocks all of the abundance, because the abundance is outside of you. It is not, you're not generating the abundance within you. You're creating the block to abundance within you, because you're focused on the outside, the external world, where all of our work, right? That's why the forgiveness is so important. That I don't know if you remember this, but you know, when I was in corporate, you know, it would be like, if you have an email to send to someone and you're a little bit upset, or you've been triggered by them or whatever, it's like you write the email and you don't send it. You sleep on it. It's the same thing, only now we don't actually send it.
If only I had known that when I was working in corporate. I had so much drama.
I did a stint as an executive assistant for 8 years in my publishing career. So yeah. I learned a lot about managing upwards.
Yeah, for sure.
I was actually a master at it. That's where some of my relationship and communication came from.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So that's so powerful. So let's tap into, how do we create abundance?
Oh, well,
it's my favorite topic.
You recognize your energy, right? It's, you know, one of my favorite messages from Joy is to prioritize energy, then take action, right? So as you're looking out the window at the trash, it's like, how are you feeling? And now you can tap into, I don't want to tap into the old energy.
Right.
I'm present. And it's like, I just have to do a forgiveness letter, and that is going to clear that trash right up. And it might not be today, because divine timing also comes into play, right? So when we want to create abundance, we start to feel it in our bodies. We feel the abundance in our bodies first, and abundance and love are in the same frequency. So if we can drop into our heart and feel love for ourselves, and if you aren't there yet, then feel love for your pet or for a child. And I should have reversed the order. Feel the love for your child, then your pet.
Depends if you have children. If you don't,
I don't have pets, right? But I have a granddaughter. But feel the most precious relationship that you have, where you love someone or something. Right? I remember I was in my 20s, and I had this baby blue Firebird with white leather interior with a stick shift, right? And I was dating a guy, and one day we were walking up to my car, and I went, I love my car. And he goes, you love an inanimate object? And I went, yeah, I love my car. I feel really good when I'm in that car. I feel, hot and sexy. I was like 25.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so whatever it is, it doesn't need to be a person. Just like, I get excited. I remember that. I access that memory of how much I love that inanimate object. And it was something that was generated within me. That love came from within me.
Right.
I bought that car cash. I was really young, right? And so being able to feel love within you, and then knowing that if you can tap into the energy of love, and love is the one emotion that we can tap into instantly. We can go from any other emotion to love because it's who we are. We are love.
Yeah.
And when we can tap into that, then we can tap into the frequency of abundance because it's in the same frequency, which is really cool to know.
It's really cool to know. And so few people know that.
Yeah.
And so few people know how to even really consciously in like purposefully tap into that sensation of love. They don't even necessarily know they can do that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And once I started learning, it was a little challenging at first because it was so unnatural to me, even though it's the most natural thing we can do. But we've been so conditioned to not feel emotions. And so, when we start trying to learn how to do that, sometimes it can be a little challenging, And all I can say to people who might be experiencing that, if they're playing with this, or if they start to play with this after this conversation, is be patient with yourself. Because I finally got it, and I get it on a deeper level every day that I practice it. It just takes practice, and you can tune into your emotions, and you can really start to, like, when I first started, I didn't even know what to call certain things that I felt because I wasn't sure. I'm like, is this anger? Is this, well, anger is kind of an easy one, but is this like loneliness, or am I bored, or or is it something actually better, like, do I actually feel content, or like, I just wasn't sure how to, and I got all these like emotions like on this feeling wheel, right? And I was like, I don't know what those are. Like, I've heard these words, but I'm not sure how to put that with a feeling. And there's still some I'm, deciphering, and that's okay, but it's a process. And I'd say be patient with yourself because it will come, and it just takes practice and patience. And it's the payoff is huge. Like,
It is huge.
Yeah, how huge.
I want to share too, though, like when you said that when you didn't know what the emotion was, one of the things that I realized is, and I realized this probably about 6 or 7 years ago before I actually started doing all of this work, is that as a humanity, we have had this hum of sadness, right? So collectively, we have felt that, right, in the past. And so what I noticed was I didn't know how to express anger because as a child, I could go to my room and I could cry, I could be sad, but don't be angry.
Yeah, me too.
Right. Too. So then we shoved down. I'm like stuttering over the word. We shove down the emotion of anger because we're not allowed to express it. And so then it sits in that root chakra, right? In the lower chakras, in the sacral chakra. And we need to actually do the work to see what it feels like, right? So one of the things that I did, I'm going to say it was a year ago, November. And I recognized that I had repressed anger, suppressed anger.
Either way.
I didn't have to go look up what they mean, slightly different things. But so say repressed anger, where it's like, well, I suppressed it, right? So suppressed anger. And I recognized that I did that through some work that I did with Joy. And so one of the ways of releasing that was to stand in front of a mirror and throw karate punches. And so I would do that, and then I would practice Tai Chi. And I'm a martial artist from, my early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. And it's like, I would throw karate punches like I never threw in class. I was able to direct the anger, right? And then, but the trick is to allow the anger to be expressed in a really safe way. You can punch a pillow, right? Or if you want to stand in front of a mirror, you can just practice punching, and I just imagined all the people that I was angry at. And then I had to do a forgiveness letter after. Right. But I was able to do that. And then I did something soft. I did Tai Chi, which was a really soft and flowing energy to soothe my energy.
Right. And basically transmute the frequency. To something.
Yeah. So I would caution people that if you are unsure of the emotion that you're feeling, to be okay with it, because there is this overlap, right? I confused sadness with anger, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I would always feel like I would default to sadness and not know that I was just really extremely ticked off with someone.
Right. And for me, there was an element of that, but there was also an element of shame around anger, because I just ran into when we were kids, my siblings and I created this family newspaper, and so we'd like interview people in the family, and like I had an advice column. I was 5. My advice was hilarious.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But you know, it was really interesting. I read a couple of editions of this newspaper from different time periods, and my heart just broke when I read it, because I was like, wow, we just didn't know. We didn't know. But there were all these questions from different family members of how to deal with other people's temper tantrums. And I'm like, wow, I mean, I remember there being arguing and stuff, but I didn't remember like full blown tantrums. But then when, you know, I was reading it, I'm like, yeah, I guess so. You know, like time passes and you kind of like, haha, whatever things. But really, like, I saw so much of the pain of the family as a whole coming through those newspapers. And it was just like, whoa, like, just so powerful to see that. And, you know, so what I kind of realized was, yeah, like we weren't, we were, we were expressing anger in an unhealthy way, but then we were also being punished for expressing it too.
Yeah.
You know, and so then there was the shame around it, you know, a lot of shame around feeling the anger. And so, you know, that I kind of have a confusion with, you know, when I'm still learning to navigate anger and like kind of release the shame about feeling anger. And I actually have some forgiveness work to do around somebody that I didn't even realize I was angry with, because, you know, I've got the blanket of shame around you can't be angry. So, especially because this person did a lot to help me. And, you know, but there's stuff they did that was hurtful to me too, you know, and so to, you know, be able to like be okay with being angry with someone you love or somebody you are grateful to for other things, you know, just coming to terms with that can be really tricky, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, as the more I do this work, you know, and go through these processes and use these tools that you've taught, like it just really shifts everything and helps navigate all that stuff. And so what I want to say about that, and I know you have your own stories around this too, but you know, I started doing this work in early 2019, and I was coming out of homelessness then, and I ended the year with a 6-figure income.
Mhm.
I was homeless at the beginning of the year in January, ended the year with a 6-figure income. I'd never had a 6-figure income before. And I had made triple the amount of my highest grossing year, which had been a long time before. That you know, I went through a big period where I made a lot less money, and you know, obviously, if I ended up homeless, and and like that just blew my mind how powerful this stuff is. Powerful, you know. And I keep getting more and more um uh like since I don't work that many hours in a day, like because I've still been recovering from chronic illness. And so, and this is what blows people's mind. It blew my mind. It still does. But it, you know, like I would work like maybe 3 hours a week in the end of 2019 when I started my business, and I had a 6-figure income. It didn't come from my business. Like, you know, so this is, you know, money can come from anywhere. And like, but really understanding that you have to be able to clear all this crap to open yourself up to receiving that. And literally, this is why I'm telling people near instantaneous results.
Yeah.
Like how much goodness came to me just because I started clearing the crap. And I didn't even do the major forgiveness work that year, but just starting to open up to the possibility of it cleared the way. Like, that's how powerful this stuff is. And, you know, so for people who might be watching that don't, you know, they're like, oh, I've done all the self-help, I've done the forgiveness stuff, like, you know, I've done the things, I did all the things too. I know you did all the things, you shared that with me last time. And like, you know, just so many, right? So many self-help programs, like, and so many self-help books and like all the things. And this is the one thing that's been working, you know, like really, really working. And, you know, even now, like I am not working full time. I'm not making a full-time income from my business. And yet I have plenty of money I've not had a hiccup in this. In 2 years, I've not had a hiccup in the flow of money where like I don't have enough to pay my rent. Like I'm always taken care of and then some. And, you know, it's like, I just keep practicing this stuff and I keep like expanding more into it and into more things like this. And like, I can't explain how I'm, you know, taking care of myself financially, but it's just happening. And it's like, I know now I don't really need to question it. Like, this is just, it's the way it works because it's energy. It's just energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, you know, I really didn't understand in the beginning. And so, you know, when you come into more alignment with yourself and you shift your energy and, you know, you open yourself up to feeling worthy of receiving the good, right? Clearing the shame, clearing the huge pile of trash out there. I can't wait to see what comes in when I clear that. Like, oh my God.
Well,
So
you know the law of vacuum, right?
Yeah.
All space wants to be filled, right?
Yep.
So that is his space that keeps getting filled up.
Yeah.
So because it's not just you energetically creating that, there's other people around and you clear it, right? And then the law of vacuum says, oh, that wants to be filled. It's like if you clean out your closet or your garage or something and it's all spotless, or you have an extra cupboard when you move in, right? You've got so many cupboards that it's like, oh, and I have these 2 spare cupboards, which is what happened to me. And then suddenly it's like every single space is filled in the cupboards because the law of vacuum states that whatever, like space abhors a vacuum. Yeah. Right. So it's like that space is always going to get filled, right? And so we can create that energetically with money through abundance. Right. Right. There's space in my account for more money. Yeah, let's fill that.
Absolutely.
It's a thought, it's a possibility. What about if, right? What if?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am so excited to be in a position to be able to teach this and to keep going through my own learnings with it. Right. So if you want to deepen your lessons on something, go teach it. Right. And I've been blessed to be able to teach this material, and it is life-changing for people. Yeah. It is so amazing the transformation that people can have in a 10-week period. Yeah. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings me to, you know, what we're talking about, the program that I actually went through with you, which is, what was it? Self-mastery for
your life. And it features the brain game.
Right. So, so this program, Pamela is going to be teaching it again really soon, in a couple weeks, right? What it starts on February 17th. Yeah, it's a Wednesday, and it's a 10-week program. So you meet twice a week, once for the lesson, once for follow-up Q&A, and kind of working through the material and stuff, which was so powerful, by the way. Like, that was a great addition to the program for me, and so that's coming up. But today, Pamela is going to give you a little taste of that. So she's doing, actually over the next 3 days, an hour a day, you're going to be giving people little pieces of it to kind of, you know, try it out for free, play with it, see how much, like, just doing a little piece can do for you. And you will definitely want to do the whole program once you do that, because it's just so powerful, like just little pieces. Because, and the other thing I love, and I, you know, is that once you take the program, you can take it again for free every time you want to after that. And I keep doing it because every time I do it, I go deeper and deeper and deeper and get more and more abundance in my life, more results. It's improved my health. It's improved my relationships. It's improved my bank account, like everything. It just everything. So, you know, today at 4:00 Pacific time, Pamela has a workshop starting that's going to be for the next 3 days, and I'll put the link for you guys so that you can get yourself registered to get the Zoom link. So, because we don't like to post Zoom links online, because, you know, we don't want just anyone crashing the party. So if you're really serious about wanting to create more abundance in your life, the link to register will be there. And even if you're seeing this after 4:00 Pacific and you still want to participate the next 2 days, there will be replays of the video. So you will be able to catch up and, you know, participate and take advantage of this offer. And it's free. It's like free. Really what this is like a lottery ticket, because a lottery ticket that you're guaranteed to win if you know, scratch the stuff off. So
yeah. Show up, just show up. That's
show
right.
up and like be willing to like consider what's being said and try it out and play with it. It's play. I know it doesn't sound fun to do forgiveness work, but when you know what the payoff is, it becomes really fun. It really does. So
it's such a beautiful way to see ourselves, right? Like this year has been a great coming home, right? Like that's really what it's about. It's about coming home to ourselves so that we can see ourselves. Because when we can see ourselves, then others can see us. And then we can align with the people who are coded to work with us, who are coded to play with us, who are coded to be with us, right? Like we get to hang out. We created this.
Yeah.
Right? And we invite other people to come in and co-create with us.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Yeah. So, well, let's close there then, because that's a great note to leave this off on. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we hop off? And
I'll save the stories for the class this afternoon.
Sounds awesome. And so you guys won't want to miss that either, because she's got some great anecdotes about how this stuff has really just blown away and changed her life, like for completely. So as it has mine. And so thank you guys for joining us. As you can see, I'm passionate about sharing this information, and Pamela is passionate about sharing this information, because we have had so much goodness come to our lives from it. And, you know, it's like, you just want everyone to know it. So, you know,
imagine a world where everyone knows themselves and is able to work through emotional mastery.
And loves themselves.
Oh
my God, what a different world we would live in.
And not judge, because when you love yourself, there's no reason to judge others.
No reason to judge. Masks, no masks, it doesn't matter. There is no reason to judge. So,
well, it's always lovely having conversations with you, and you and I can talk for hours because we have.
Yes, we certainly have. All right, well,
thank you.
See you later in just a couple hours.
Yeah.
All right.
So much.